Brilliance Audio presents Hotel-Vendome by Danielle-Steel, performed by Fred Stella. The scene in the lobby of the Hotel-Vendome on East 69th Street in New York was one of impeccable elegance and meticulous precision. The black and white checked marble floors were immaculate. Red runners were rolled out the instant there was a drop of rain outside. The moldings on the walls were exquisite, and the enormous crystal chandelier that hung in the lobby was reminiscent of the finest palaces in Europe. The hotel was much smaller than the one that had inspired its decor, but for practiced travelers, it was remarkably similar to the Ritz in Paris, where the Hotel-Vendome's owner had worked as an assistant manager for 2 years during his training in the finest hotels in Europe. Hugh Martin was 40 years old, a graduate of the illustrious and respected École Hôtelière de Lausanne in Switzerland, and the hotel on Manhattan's Upper East Side was his dream. He still couldn't believe how lucky he had been, how perfectly it had all come together 5 years before. His Swiss banker father and equally conservative mother had been devastated when he announced that he wanted to go to hotel school. He came from a family of bankers, and they thought that running a hotel or working in one had a seamy quality to it, of which they strongly disapproved. They had done everything they could to talk him out of it, to no avail. After 4 years at the school in Lausanne, he trained and eventually had respected positions at the Hôtel du Cap in Cap d'Antibes, the Ritz in Paris, and Claridge's in London, and even did a brief stint at the famed Peninsula Hotel in Hong Kong. He figured out during that time that if he ever had his own hotel, he wanted it to be somewhere in the States. Hugh worked at the Plaza in New York before it closed for extensive renovations, and he assumed that he was still light years away from his dream. Then it happened. The Hotel Mulberry was put up for sale, a small, tired hotel that had been run down for years and had never been considered chic despite its perfect location. When he heard about it, Hugh put together every penny of his savings, took out every loan he could get in both New York and Switzerland, and used all of the modest inheritance his parents had left him, which he had carefully put aside and invested, and the combination made the purchase of the hotel possible. He just managed to do it with a mortgage on the building. And suddenly, Hugh was able to buy the Mulberry and do the necessary renovations, which took 2 years, and at the end of it, the Hotel-Vendome was born, to the amazement of New Yorkers, most of whom said they had never even realized that there was a hotel in that location. The building had been a small private hospital in the 1920s and was turned into a hotel in the 1940s with abysmally bad decor. In contrast, in its transformed state, every inch of the Vendome was magnificent, and the service was superb. Hugh had brought chefs from all over the world for their now extremely popular restaurant. His catering manager was one of the best in the business, and everyone agreed that even the food from room service was fantastic. In its first year, it had become an overnight success and was booked months in advance now, with reservations made by visitors to the city from around the world. The presidential suite was one of the finest in the city. The Hotel-Vendome was an absolute gem, with beautifully decorated suites and rooms with fireplaces, moldings, and high ceilings. The hotel faced south, so most of the rooms were sunny, and Hugh had chosen the finest china, crystal, and linens, and as many antiques as he could afford, like the chandelier in the lobby, which he had bought in Geneva at a Christie's auction. It had come out of a French chateau near Bordeaux and was in perfect condition. Hugh ran his 120-room hotel with Swiss precision, a warm smile and an iron hand. His employees were discreet and experienced, had a remarkable memory for every guest, and kept detailed files on each important client's needs and requests while they were there. It had made the Vendome the most popular small hotel in New York for the past 3 years. And the moment one entered the lobby, one knew it was a special place.